Hey Emily, how are you doing? Let's see. Today is the 23rd of August, and it's approximately 12:50 a.m. Actually, it's p.m. And I'm at work. I have an appointment in about 40 minutes, and I figured, hey, this is I'm kind of on my lunch break right now, and so I've got some time to spend. And I was asking myself, how can I more effectively spend some time? And I think talking with you might have been a good idea. So hey, that's what I'm doing. And so this is a new setting. I'm usually in my living room, but now I'm in my car. And so I'm just sort of exploring what it is to talk a little bit in my car to you. So we'll see how that goes. Um, you might notice that I'm wearing glasses this time around, and the reason is because I had laser surgery yesterday afternoon. Uh, and I think I might have briefly mentioned it. Anyway, I'm still kind of working through the red eye associated with that, and I'm not wearing my contact lenses. Um, anyway, there's my commander. He just pulled up uh, in his car. So, anyway, I figured that what I could do is just let you know what's going on with me here. And I want you to know that I got a new stereo. There goes my command right over there. That's my boss's boss's boss. So how fun is that? Yep. So let's see. I got a new stereo. Look at this. Check this out. My stereo is there. It is. It's a Kenwood, and I got the radio going. So that's pretty cool. You might have known that I mentioned that my stereo is not working all that well. And in fact, it was broke. The power. Anyway, I got it fixed. Hooray for me. So now I get to listen to music, which is nice. Whereas before, I was just using my cell phone to listen to music. And so I've got my Kindle here, and I figured that I'd read something. I happen to have a children's book of verse on my Kindle, so I figured, hey, why not read some poetry to you? And here we go. The first selection of poetry is Where Go the Boats? Now, I haven't read this before, so forgive me if I stumble on some of the words or some of the phrasing. It is poetry, after all. So we'll see how it goes. Where go the boats? Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows along forever, with trees on either hand, green leaves a floating, castles of the foam, boats of mine a boating. Where will all come home? On go the river, and out past the mill, away down the valley, away down the hill, away down the river, 100 miles or more. Other little children shall bring my boats ashore. That's a really nice visual. You know, I imagine a river and a child playing with boats along the river, and then allowing those boats to go downstream, and children picking up those boats later on as they've gone downstream. I wonder if you've ever done anything like that. I have done something like that similar. Mostly it's just throwing sticks in the water, not necessarily boats, but boats that represent sticks, or sticks that represent boats. Boom. Let's see, I've got another poem here. It's called Auntie's Skirts. This is kind of a random poem, so let's see how that goes. Auntie's Skirts. Whenever Auntie moves around, her dresses make a curious sound. They trail behind her up the floor and trundle after through the door. That's a simple one, isn't it? Let's see, what else have we got? The Land of Counterpane. When I was sick and laying in bed, I had 2 pillows at my head, and all my toys beside me lay to keep me happy all the day. And sometimes for an hour or so, I watched my leaden soldiers go, with different uniforms and drills, among the bedclothes through the hills, and sometimes sent my ships in fleets all up and down among the sheets, or brought my trees and houses out, and planted cities all about. I was the giant great and still, that sits upon the pillow hill, and sees before him dale and plain, the pleasant land of counterpane. Wow. That was a great, I really like that one. I especially like the point where it says, I watch my leaden soldiers go. Okay. That is interesting because I don't know if you know this, but lead is a toxin to children. The body has trouble excreting that element. And in the past, people used to use lead for all types of functions, for dishes and plates and cups. They use lead as weapons and clearly they also use them to make toys for children. Children, unfortunately, are especially susceptible to lead poisoning in their nervous system and in their brains. And so this is quite an old poem, and it's, we just didn't know any better. I think lead is easy to fashion stuff out of because it has a very low melting point, and so you can make a toy soldier out of it and sell it to children as toys. Now, we wouldn't do that today, of course. Though I think in China they still use lead-based paint on stuff. That's a no-no. So be aware of that if you ever buy a toy from China. And, hopefully they've changed those rules. I don't know. I haven't bought a toy like that for a long, long time. So, pretty neat. Well, those are some poems that I had set aside. One other thing I thought that I might do is read picture books. This is a picture book I think I might read tomorrow to you, called Russell the Sheep. Now, I know that you're old enough to read a picture book yourself, but I think that all people, adults and children included, enjoy seeing picture books and having picture books read to them. So I think that's a great idea. So I think I might do that. Also, if there are any chapter books that you're interested in reading, I'd be happy to go through the chapter books chapter by chapter, and we can read through one, like Harry Potter series or any other kind of series. I'm willing to look at that and see what we can do. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up. The 8th of September, a friend and I were going to go check out a rescue. It rescues animals. It rescues farm animals, I think. And we're going to go take a tour and have dinner as part of a fundraiser in Paso Robles. And so I just wanted to let you know about that. I think it's pretty exciting. My friend Tiffany is going to be coming down from Santa Cruz. She'll be bringing with her a few friends, I think. And we're going to tour this animal shelter. And I'm excited to see all the various animals that they've managed to rescue from farms, like pigs and chickens and I don't know. These are animals that were going to be slaughtered, I think, and they're rehabilitating them or caring for them in their old age. And I think that's a very admirable behavior, for very admirable act to rescue animals and protect them from dying and caring from them. For them, I really like animals and enjoy having them around. Now, not that I do have a pet, because I actually don't have a pet. But I can see, my heart goes out to innocent animals who who are killed. They're just often quite young and quite innocent. They don't often live very long, and I like to see them live healthy and thriving lives. And I think doing away with any unnecessary killing is a fine idea. And so I'm excited to go to this this rescue and check it out. Maybe I can learn something about where they get the animals and how they treat them, and what do they do afterwards. Maybe they have them available for adoption, things like that. Mm. You know, both Tiffany and myself, we are interested in sort of protecting animals and helping them. And my friend Tiffany especially gets emotional about the subject. And me, I'm just rather new to it. And my heart does go out to the animals. Though the reason I try to eat as animal free as possible is for health reasons. You know, I recognize that meat and cheese are high in saturated fat and cholesterol, and so I try to stay away from those foods because I want to maintain my health for the long term. I want to live to be an old 80-year-old maybe, or even a 90-year-old. I think maybe 80 years old is feasible for me. I'm not sure about 90, but my dad is already like 72 years old. Although he's not doing so well. Yeah, that is your grandpa, Ben Trujillo. You know, he's doing his best, but he's losing his hearing pretty severely. And that hearing loss is having impacts on his mental function. I know he's been meaning to get ear hearing aids for his ears for a good 2 years now, and it's just not been successful for some reason. I'm not sure why it is. I wonder if he's prioritizing his hearing as much as he ought to be. Anyway, I have got a friend, in fact, who's getting a cochlear implant. His hearing is so bad, he's an older man, doctor. His hearing is so bad that hearing aids really don't help him very much. And so he's going to get a cochlear implant, which means that they, pull out the cochlea and replace it with an electronic cochlea. So that's awesome. He's going to get that done on one of his ears in like October. And so, I'm really excited to see him sort of fully function as a social being again, because when older people lose their hearing, they tend to fall out of society really easily. I mean, my friend, whose name is Michael, he, I don't know, he's a loner now. He barely communicates with other people. I think other people find it hard to communicate with him because they're having to speak really loud or speak directly into his ear. And, Michael still doesn't get all the information from the speech. He may only get 10, 13% of the information that's being transmitted over voice. And so the poor guy is really struggling. I'm sure he feels really lonely, really left out. I'm sure his brain is adapted and his social life is adapted, but it's got to be hard to lose so much. Your social connection to people through hearing, I think, is really important. And that's a good reason, too, to protect your hearing as much as you can. I know I'm concerned about protecting my hearing as I grow older. I want to make sure that it's there and preserved in my 70s, 80s, and 90s. And if not, I'll probably end up getting a cochlear implant, too, maybe in both ears. So, part of the means or methods that I use to protect my hearing is the use of hearing aids. I've actually got hearing aids with me. Earplugs. I got earplugs with me all the time. In fact, in case there are loud sounds that come along. In fact, here they are, right here. I've got these super cool aluminum earplugs. I might have shown them to you before. Here you go. Here's an example of one. They're basically just aluminum slugs with some cushion at the end, but they really attenuate sound really effectively, and both low, medium, and high range. And as an engineer, and particularly as a safety engineer, I'm into it. And so I love these earplugs. In fact, if you have an interest in having earplugs, I'd be happy to recommend a few to you, or even buy some for you if you have an interest in that area. I know the kids they got their cell phones and their iPads, and they use Bluetooth microphones in their earphones, and if you're not careful, you could really do some real damage to your ears by keeping the volume really high. So anyway, I just want to let you know that that's something I'm cognizant of, and if you need any hardware, like earphones that are sensitive to that issue of maintaining your hearing, I'd be happy to do some research and figure out a way for us to help you preserve your hearing, and at the same time allow you to listen to amplified music. Anyway, I guess that's the end of my little presentation today. Anyway, I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Oh, and by the way, there's going to be a pirate fair in Lompoc on Saturday, and I'm thinking about going to it. And anyway, you're invited to come along with me, or we can meet up there or something like that. That might be fun. So that's happening. What is today? The 23rd? That's 24th, the 25th of August. Anyway, talk to you later, girl. I love you. Bye-bye.